Chapter 35 Sparks Fly. Following the announcement, 8 ladies gracefully came out to help a woman down from the phoenix carriage. Every single person kneeled down when that woman descended, respectfully calling, "Greetings, Empress Dowager." But Long Chen was not amongst the kneeling. That wasn't because of his arrogance or cultivation base. According to the Empire's customs, cultivators above the blood condensation realm didn't have to kneel towards princes. However, cultivation base did not matter when it came to the Empress Dowager. Any citizen of the Empire had to kneel in front of her. The exception that allowed him to ignore this custom was his status as a pill apprentice. As an alchemist, he had the option not to kneel. Furthermore, he was sitting amongst a huge crowd of people, so he wouldn't be noticed. Acknowledged. The Empress Dowager merely glanced at these people before indifferently raising her hand. Only then did everyone slowly get up. Long Chen closely examined this woman who held all the power in the Phoenix Cry Empire. She only appeared around 37 or 38 years old, but it was said that she was actually over 50. Despite being called the Empress Dowager, she was not the blood mother of the Emperor, but the actual mother of the Crown Prince. Since the Emperor had stayed in seclusion for so long, the chancellors finally decided that continuing to call her Empress was becoming inappropriate. Since the Crown Prince had come of age now, he was set to ascend the throne next year. Therefore, her title had changed from Empress to Empress Dowager. With the lady's support, she slowly walked over to the central seat and sat down. The 7 princes also came out in succession, sitting beside the Empress Dowager. This was the first time Long Chen had seen all the princes together. He looked over them one by one. He had seen the Crown Prince before, and he had also recognized the 7th prince. The current 7th prince had become much better behaved now, and didn't dare to mess around as much as he used to. Long Chen finally found that the one he was most interested in, the 4th prince. It went without saying that the 4th prince was very handsome. His face had a modest smile that was very friendly and powerful. Looking over his surroundings, Long Chen noticed that many of the young women were already infatuated with the handsome prince. Long Chen shook his head at the other princes. Although they were all very grand, the arrogance in their eyes could not be hidden. Naturally, he thought of Chu Yao at this time. Amongst these princes, how many of them weren't wearing masks? Or more accurately, were they all wearing masks? And just how many masks were they wearing? A sneer appeared on his lips. The more power the royalty held, the more difficult they would be to deal with when they were corrupted. It would be better to have them lead some wars and have them feel a bit of pain along with their people. Long Chen turned up his nose at those people who had killed others in secret without actually touching blood. If they had such intentions, then why didn't they just focus on increasing their own strength through cultivating? Grandmaster Young Qi has arrived. What surprised Long Chen was that Grandmaster Young Qi actually appeared at the chairs. His appearance immediately caused a commotion. This was the first time a person like Grandmaster Young Qi had ever come to the Phoenix Cry Lantern Festival. As soon as Grandmaster Young Qi walked up, the Empress Dowager quickly stood up and paid her respects to him. Greetings, Grandmaster. This old man doesn't deserve such courtesy from Empress Dowager. Grandmaster Young Qi also gave her a half bow of respect. After the two of them had greeted each other, Grandmaster Young Qi seated himself. His seat was right next to the Empress Dowager and at the exact same height, showing just how high his status was. His gaze roved around the crowd, and he nodded slightly when he saw Long Chen practically hiding in the corner. This slight movement of his immediately drew everyone's attention. Following Young Qi's gaze, they immediately found Long Chen. Looks like the rumors are true. Long Chen really has been recognized by Grandmaster Young Qi. He might have already become his apprentice. Some people couldn't help but sigh. It seemed like just moments ago that Long Chen had been bullied trash. But now his life had completely changed with Grandmaster Yunqi's recognition. He had actually become a highly revered pill apprentice. Long Chen cursed when he saw Grandmaster Yunqi nod his head at him. As he expected, everyone immediately looked over at him. He had no desire to become the focus of everyone's attention, but now it was too late to be Loki. Long Chen rose up and bowed towards Grandmaster Yunqi. Seeing that, the Empress Dowager smiled. Looks like the Grandmaster's closed heart has finally been moved after all these years. Are you planning on passing down your legacy? The crowd immediately quieted. It was rumored that Grandmaster Yunqi was an extremely prideful and would never take an apprentice within his life. They were all curious as to how he would reply. This child has a great future ahead of him. I truly do hope he becomes my apprentice, replied Grandmaster Yunqi lightly. Although he didn't exactly say it explicitly, his words still shocked everyone. He was such a prideful man that almost no one had heard him praise someone. For him to look so highly upon Long Chen, then just how important was Long Chen to him? Countless theories popped up in people's minds. I must assume Long Chen is an extremely talented alchemist, or an ordinary pill apprentice would not be able to enter your gaze like that, said the fourth prince. Yunqi looked at the fourth prince and laughed. Being a talented alchemist is just one part of it. The most important thing is perseverance. Fourth Prince's perseverance is also very admirable. He smiled. You overpraise me, Grandmaster. The fourth prince no longer continued to talk after this. Long Chen's keen senses noticed that his expression had changed ever so slightly. Was it because of what Grandmaster Yunqi implied? Long Chen couldn't help but wondering. Grandmaster Wei Kang, Prince Chengfeng, and Princess Jia Bachi have arrived. Following this announcement, Jia Chengfeng, Jia Bachi, and a 40-year-old thin, bearded man wearing a pillmaster's robe walked out. His robe had an exquisite pill cauldron sewn over the abdominal area. The cauldron had 3 lines on it, marking him as a pillmaster. Long Chen also had such an alchemist robe, but the quality of his robe was much inferior, and there was only 1 line on his cauldron. 1 line signified pill apprentice, 2 lines a pill adept, and 3 lines a pill master. Long Chen narrowed his eyes. Just who was this person? Why would he appear here? Yunqi, after not seeing you for so many years, it seems as if you've aged quite a bit, said Wei Kang. The entire plaza became completely silent once he said this. Grandmaster Yunqi was revered highly within the Phoenix Cry Empire, and no one would dare say such a thing to him. Wei Kang, did you finally leave the Grand Jaya because you're dying and want to see more of the world? Replied Grandmaster Yunqi. Even if I was dying, it'd be better than my wife dying. And my wives have become more numerous over these years, Wei Kang laughed. Whether it was intentional or not was unknown, but Jia Bachi hugged Wei Kang's arm and pressed her body close against his. Long Chen's gaze darkened when he noticed that Jia Bachi was wearing the exact same clothes as the woman in the picture Yunqi had shown him. If he hadn't guessed wrong, then this old ghost was most likely Yunqi's enemy, and maybe even the cause of the death of his wife was related to him. He was clearly attacking Grandmaster Yunqi, and while he using Jia Bachi as a sharp weapon. Fury rose within Long Chen. Although he hadn't had much contact with Grandmaster Yunqi, he knew that he was a peaceful person who was open and honest with others. He was an elder worthy of respect, and for him to be schemed against by someone like this caused him to recklessly shout the following. You're just a dying old stick. Take care of the day that you keel over during sex. The plaza was originally deathly silent, so Long Chen's voice rang out clearly in every single person's ears. Everyone turned to look at Long Chen in shock. You bold peasant! How dare you be so rude to this Grand Master? Xiaobachi glared at Long Chen angrily. Do you think I care about being rude to an old pervert drowning in lust? Retorted Long Chen disdainfully. Following what Long Chen implied, the crowd turned to look at Xiaobachi. Wei King's hand was already all over her chest. She quickly shook off the hand and glared at Long Chen. She pointed at Long Chen angrily, but merely stuttered, unable to say anything. Are all your Phoenix Cry noble sons this lacking in upbringing? Snorted Wei King coldly. Before Empress Dowager could say anything, Young Qi indifferently said, Long Chen is already a pillar apprentice of my alchemist guild. Did you hear that, old bastard? This lord is a member of the guild. But what are you? Said Long Chen. Idiot, Grandmaster Wei King is the chairman of our Grand Xia's alchemist guild, retorted Xiaobachi angrily. Oh, so he wasn't from here. Good. I was confused about that. Our Phoenix Cry land is so fertile. There's no way such a quacking old lecher could come from it. Long Chen sighed in relief. This sentence of his made everyone want to laugh, but they couldn't. But they also couldn't keep it down, so the smart ones all lowered their heads. Some people didn't react in time and actually let out a choked laugh before covering their mouth. But that was even more embarrassing for Wei King than if people had just outright laughed. The atmosphere of the plaza became extremely awkward. The ones who had it in the worst weren't the people down below, but the princes. They couldn't laugh for fear of offending, and they also had nowhere to hide, so their attempts at stifling their laughter were the most difficult. Cough. Today is a holiday, so Grandmaster Wei King, please come up and sit. The festivities will soon start. The Empress Dowager also had it hard. Neither side could offend the other, so they had to come to a compromise. Fine. Wei King graciously accepted the offer. He coldly snorted at Young Qi before slowly walking up to his spot. Once he sat down, he icily swept his gaze over Long Chen. Was this old stick trying to intimidate him? Long Chen extended his fist towards him, his middle finger shooting up high. Everyone gasped at this act of his. Wei King's face immediately turned green and killing intent overflowed from him. The Empress Dowager saw this and quickly shouted, Let the festivities begin! A melodious bell rang out. The waiting people started to illuminate the lanterns, turning the plaza as bright as it was in the daytime. A string of huge lanterns appeared atop the stage. Chapter 35, End. Translator note. For those unaware, an Empress Dowager is the wife of a dead emperor or the mother of the emperor. Technically, she would still be the empress since the emperor isn't dead, just in seclusion. But after so long, the chancellors decided that with the emperor in permanent seclusion, she couldn't continue being the empress, and gave her the title of Empress Dowager. Chapter End.